candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities. And with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges.
Affleck actually recently walked away from J-Lo because these allegations were coming out.
And isn't there even some concern that, or proof that Pastor T.D. Jakes?
Well, I'm getting right there. So there's this big list that Diddy said, I'm not going down alone. Because Cat Williams went on a podcast a while back, and Cat Williams, who is a well-known comedian in the black community for a long time, he went on a podcast and basically just regurgitated all this information that was just so valid. And he said, all these people, he said, you got God on one side, and then you got the other side. And he said, the other side, they're all going down in 2024. And he mentioned that he was offered $50 million 4 separate times to join in with these Diddy parties to basically be sodomized. And he turned it down every time.
To help his career.
To help his career, to bring his career to the next level.
You're on a raft.
Yes.
In the middle of the ocean.
Right.
You look in the water.
That would make me give me so much anxiety to him.
Oh, this is about to give you more anxiety. You look in the ocean, you see 2 people float. You can only pull up one because that's how much room you have on your raft. You look in the oceans, you see Ben Affleck, and you see Diddy. That's it. J to the L. Give me.
You will be shocked to learn the actual list of celebs Diddy was linked to. CEOs, music executives, the British royal family. Diddy was linked to some of the world's most influential men. Furthermore, these males have previously been friends with profiles. The same individuals were acquainted with Epstein. After a while, you have to question whether the fact that the same names are mentioned each time a pedophile is revealed is truly a coincidence.
Famous people who partied and hung out with Diddy. Apparently there's like at least, 100 plus who are going to be named in his trial. Famous shiny stars. We named some of them last night. We got a new one tonight, Iron Man. But we don't yet know what the connection is. Like, how are all these famous faces and names going to be connected to P. Diddy in his sex trafficking trial? It's the kind of thing they're all freaking out about, right? And there are many unnamed yet. We're just finding out about them in jury selection. But I'll tell you what, the internet is freaking out and making its connections. Which shiny star had what connection to Diddy, and how could that end up in the case?
Yeah, there you go, Joe. Thank you. Yeah. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
We applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We with a t-shirt.
I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing.
Dr. Michael B. Jordan made the list because Diddy once threatened him for dating Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Same goes for the rapper Kid Cudi. USA Today says that Cassie's lawsuit claimed that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car.
T.D. Jakes is among the celebrities who have publicly criticized Diddy and attempted to distance themselves from the spotlight. Days after it was made public that Diddy had accepted a plea deal to turn on his co-workers, Dallas Bishop T.D. Jakes resigned as the Potter's House megachurch's head pastor. T.D. Jakes is attempting to explain why he frequently attended Diddy's parties, but nobody is believing it anymore.
People get on my nerve talking about who you should be seen with. I do homeless shelters. I walk in prison ministries. I deal with murderers. I deal with innocent kids because they're our children, our sons, and our...
The shock to many in the religious community, Bishop T.D. Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation. From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced that he was stepping down from leadership at the Potter's House.
I want to.
Nearly a year ago, Cat Williams called out T.D. Jakes' hypocrisy and said he would be going down with Diddy. His claims are now gradually being validated in Lil Rod's case, in which Lil Rod accused Diddy of utilizing T.D. T.D. Jakes was initially named as an accomplice on Diddy. Jakes' use of religion.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
To enhance his reputation, T.D. Jake allegedly assisted Diddy in gaining access to new victims and was attempting to repair Diddy's reputation by utilizing his role as head of the Potter's House.
Watch as Cat Williams calls out Bishop T.D. Jakes, and watch as T.D. Jakes and Gino Jennings' response.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Good, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good because I know the truth.
T.D. Jakes, do not speak against homosexuality.
World-renowned Dallas pastor T.D. Jakes is named in a federal lawsuit against musician Sean Diddy Combs.
It's filed by a producer that worked with Combs. It discusses how the singer planned to leverage his relationship with the bishop to soften the impact on his public image of Casey Ventura's lawsuit. Ventura is a former girlfriend of Combs who filed her own lawsuit in November alleging abuse, violence, and stage trap.
Could this federal investigation have come out of these private lawsuits?
Oh, absolutely. If it involves sex trafficking or drugs or weapons or other illegal behavior.
Lori Levinson is a former federal prosecutor.
They've decided this is worth a lot of resources across the country. So once they've done these searches, they have evidence to follow up on. And if they've got it, they'll move on.
Diddy's protege Usher is also coming under scrutiny. Cassie described how Usher saw Diddy several times and assisted him in hiding his tracks during her testimony last week. Former Danity Kane member Don Richard also stated in his testimony that Usher had witnessed Combs poppin' tour in 2010 at a West Hollywood eatery. Cassie's stomach is being popped by Mr. Combs. He struck her in the stomach when they were having a private talk. Without hesitation, she leaned over and walked away.
Richard says she wasn't alone in witnessing Sean Diddy Combs' abuse. During her second day of testimony in the music mogul's federal trial, the 41-year-old described an alleged 2010 incident of Combs punching then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura at a West Hollywood, California restaurant and said Usher was also a witness to the event. During her testimony May 19th per NBC News, which had a reporter in the courtroom, she said, quote, Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach. They were having a private conversation and then he punched her in the stomach. She immediately leaned over and left. In addition to Usher, Richard, who was a member of the girl group Danity Kane, which was formed on Combs' show Making the Band in 2004, alleged that other musicians, including singer Neo, record exec Jimmy Iovine, and rapper Big Daddy Kane were present as well. When Richard and Ventura got into a car to leave after the alleged restaurant incident, Richard said another physical altercation took place between Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his then-girlfriend. She continues in her testimony, quote, "We got in the car to head back to her house. Combs grabbed her, slapped her, popped her in the mouth, and told her to shut the Everyone was quiet."
Justin Bieber is another well-known celebrity who was in a similar situation as Usher, but did not hesitate to speak out. When Justin was Usher's age, he was supposedly abused as a child. When Justin was 13 years old, Diddy took him into his custody and is accused of abusing him during that time. There is video proof that some of the top people in Hollywood mistreated Justin. In a statement released a few days after the trial started, Justin acknowledged that he was aware of actual abuse occurring behind the scenes.
Justin Bieber breaking his silence on the ordeal after months of speculation over their one-time relationship. His rep telling ET, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Bieber's questionable connection to Diddy piquing interest online as the rap mogul's indictment for text trafficking and racketeering charges, which he denies, made headlines. Old clips of the two hanging out while Justin was underage resurfacing.
Let's just go get some girls. Let's go ahead and some girls.
Man, after my heart, that's drugs. We hit him like this, so me and you walking, we hanging out, a little later on the night after the Usher concert.
There's also this old Jimmy Kimmel Live segment, adding to fan fears about what might have gone down with Diddy.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
The Lamborghini for a day or two, and he got access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
Something, everything ain't for everybody.
This all comes as Bieber's followers are worried for him. The singer's erratic social media posts causing concern week after week. The Beliebers asking if what he's seen behind the scenes of the industry.
Billionaires like Jay-Z and Kanye remain silent, and Kanye continues to back Puff. In the trial, Kanye was also mentioned. Was it because he was involved in the whole thing?
This is why Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and more celebrities were name-dropped at Sean Diddy Combs' trial. As jury selection in the mogul trafficking trial got underway May 5th in New York, NBC News reports prospective jurors were shown a list of more than 100 names of people and places that may be referenced during the trial, including actors Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, and rapper Kanye West. While the aforementioned celebrities are not implicated in the case, the potential jurors were asked whether they knew any of the names listed and whether it would impact their ability to be impartial, per the outlet. Attorneys did not share an explanation for the list. The names of women who have taken legal action against Combs were also on the list, including his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, whose November 2023 sexual abuse lawsuit against the rapper was settled one day after it was filed. Danity Kane alum Don Richard, who accused Combs of sexual assault in a lawsuit filed in September, was also listed. Combs has denied any wrongdoing in both cases.
There are now rumors that Diddy lost the protection he had for so long, which is the true reason he was revealed in the first place. When Diddy defied his bosses, they pursued him. You have to admit that it is odd that Diddy's entire life fell apart barely 2 months after he terminated his deal with Diageo. Was there any connection between Diageo and Diddy's exposure?
Diddy sues Diageo. Diddy filed a lawsuit accusing Diageo of neglecting the De Leon brand, racial discrimination, claiming they marketed it as an urban product and failed to treat him as a true business partner. Then in January 2024, they settled, out of court. Diageo and Diego settled the dispute out of court. While details still remain sealed, the settlement marked the end of their business relationship. So this is from 2007 till 2024. 17 years. Could they have protected him? I don't know. Their CEO currently today is Deborah Ann Crew. She was a former intelligence officer in the military. Once intelligence officer, forever you're an intelligence officer. Who knows what happened? We don't know the relationship. We're not going to make any accusations. All we know is, could this have been a protection where they were at the parties and they knew things that were taking place and are like, wait, what do you want to do to us? No problem. Boom, drop the bomb. I don't know. All I'm saying is the timing, it's kind of strange. Maybe even they wanted to kind of be like, look, we know what's about to be dropped on this guy. We want to have nothing to do with you. We're out. Here's some money. You stay quiet. We'll pay you, but we want to get out of here. The only thing at the time is kind of crazy is January 2024, they settled. 2 months later, remember what we're sitting there doing and minding our own business? And you hear, March of 2024, the feds are raiding Diddy's Miami home and his LA home. For what?
What transpires behind closed doors will decide how this trial turns out. The fact that Diddy's close associates were dropping like flies when it suited him is not a coincidence. It is possible that Diddy is now being targeted by the same individuals who were eliminating his rivals.
Well, Pierce, let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise as soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So, you know.
There were rumors well, I was going to mention on this that there have been rumors circulating online that Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx, which caused his 2023 hospitalization. In his Netflix show, he compared Combs to the devil in revealing his near-death experience after a brain bleed and stroke. He said, I say this all the time. I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel. I thought, have I gone to the wrong place? I looked at the end of the tunnel and I thought I saw the devil saying, come on. Or was that Puffy? I'm effing around, but if that was Puffy in a flaming bottle of Johnson.
Jamie Foxx's admission that Diddy poisoned him demonstrates how much darker this industry is than any of us could have ever thought. Joe Rogan talked about Diddy's accusations on a recent edition of the Joe Rogan Experience.
P. Diddy, why can't we get anything concrete? All we really have is the hotel hallway beat ass.
That one is in the process. At least, I don't know, but hold on. He's in jail. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of lawsuits. That one is like, we're going to find out. Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him, and that's it.
I've heard that.
He talked about it on stage.
He said it?
He said it.
Got poisoned?
He said it.
Because I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine. It was Diddy shutting me up.
See if we can find that, because he said it on stage. Whoa.
Poisoning people?
Bro, I think there was some crazy bit going
on. Like Cosby shit? Like drugging?
Diddy wasn't even I think it was murder could do it.
There's alleged murder. There's a bunch of people that got pneumonia, a bunch of convenient people that died of pneumonia. Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization while filming Netflix special. Holy shit.
Jamie Foxx has a Netflix special? Should they not care about at all stand-up? Jamie Foxx is hilarious.
Audience member.
Yeah, right, guy. Oh, I see him at clubs all the time. Working on his bit.
What is that? Share Swagyoga. Look at this. The audience members had varying accounts of the comedian's words. Two of them claimed that Fox said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, that he's the one who called the FBI on Diddy, who's currently in prison awaiting trial and sitting referee charges.
Diddy has turned down the federal government's plea offer. As part of this agreement, Diddy acknowledged his involvement in narcotics charges, forced prostitution ST, and racketeering. Diddy would have received a lower term, but it appears that this will not be the case. Diddy will bring everyone down with him if he fails. If their names appear on the tapes taken from Diddy's Miami estate, Jay-Z, TD Jakes, Usher, and even Clive Davis will all go to jail.
Last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged drug-fueled activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them in asylum.
Dawn Richards has also testified against Diddy, describing how he beat Cassie viciously and SA her in front of her. Richards described several distinct incidents of Diddy's alleged aggression. She said she witnessed Diddy use his clenched hand to punch Cassie in the face at a concert in Central Park.
Richard joined Combs' group Diddy Dirty Money after Danity Kane disbanded. While on the stand, she told jurors that she saw Combs hang Ventura with a skillet full of eggs at his Los Angeles home in 2009. Richard testified per NBC News. He came downstairs asking where his phone was, and he threw her to the ground. He attempted to kick her. She fell to the ground and went into the fetal position, literally trying to hide her head. In addition to striking Ventura with the skillet, Richard said Combs put his arm around the singer's neck and took her upstairs before she heard glass breaking. Richard added, "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything." Richard's testimony in Combs' ongoing trial comes 8 months after she accused the rapper in a lawsuit of subjecting her to years of inhumane working conditions, which included groping, assault, and false imprisonment. The lawsuit, filed in September, obtained by E! News, stated, Mr. Combs frequently held meetings with Ms. Richard wearing only his underwear, despite Ms. Richard's protests and repeated requests for him to put on clothing. In her filing, the 41-year-old also alleged that Combs ordered her to strip down to her underwear, made demeaning remarks about her body, and entered her dressing room unannounced while she was unclothed, and touched her without her permission under the guise of showing the stylist what to do.
Gene Deal has also confirmed these assertions. Cassie was groomed by Diddy. He was nearly 40 when he began seeing her, and she was only 19. Diddy gradually took over all facets of Cassie's life. Her family, her work, her food, and even her clothes. Diddy was in charge of everything. Diddy would brutally abuse Cassie and take away her home and employment if she did not follow his instructions.
If you don't think that dude
groomed that young girl. Took that impressionable young girl who wanted to be a star, who wanted all her dreams that she had to come true, and fed her drugs, fed her pills, fed her alcohol, and fed her mushrooms and things that she never took before to F her mind up, and then put her in a position that she thought that what little that she had, that she didn't want to lose it. If you didn't think that he did something and did that to her, bro, I gotta say something wrong with you.
Diddy would intervene whenever someone attempted to assist Cassie. The third victim, a woman named Gina, is still missing. Gina was supposed to testify regarding the alleged abuse, but she has since vanished.
And whenever these trials come about, the closer you get to the trial date, a lot of things start happening to remove people from the case that are going to strengthen the case for the prosecution. And I feel like we're watching that take place now. With one of the male sex worker guys who provided tapes to the feds. He's disappeared. And this is similar to what happened in the Tory Lanez case, where the bodyguard whose DNA was on the weapon, he disappeared. So I expect to see a lot of strange things take place. I expect to see the defense team do a lot of steps to lighten the image of Combs. And we've been watching that take place.
From what you know about him, Sean Combs, obviously the perception of him has changed dramatically since these allegations were made and since he got charged. I mean, from everything we're seeing now, he seems a very unpleasant, nasty, violent piece of work. Is that a correct assessment?
The assessment is going to be correct. So what I've learned is whenever you see a gentleman like this from affluence and power, whenever they have an addiction to MDMA or the drug ARV, they call it the love drug. So he's been doing this drug for over 20 years. So that's going to lead his view skewed when it comes to sexual activity. I believe it's helped turn him into a sexual deviant.
These claims are really unsettling and provide a terrible depiction of what transpires in Hollywood once the curtain comes down. Behind the fame and the money lies a filthy world where people are abused, violated, and abandoned when they aren't needed longer.
Now, here's Fox. Go ahead, Rob.
What jurors heard today were tales of appalling physical abuse by Sean Combs as prosecutors portrayed him as a monster who controlled people and plied them with drugs, threats, money, brandishing guns during these on-camera performances that he liked to call freak-offs. And in fact, jurors were shown for the first time today that horrifying videotape. Combs brutally beating, kicking, and dragging his then-girlfriend. And then a male escort took the witness stand, and he talked about how he saw firsthand that same young woman repeatedly battered by the defendant, who then tried to bribe a hotel security guard with a stack of cash to get rid of the evidence. In opening statements, what struck me was how the defense attorney openly admitted that her client committed domestic violence, but then tried to argue, well, that's about trafficking for which he's charged. Technically, yes, but it is an underlying crime in the racketeering case against him, which includes kidnapping, arson, crimes, bribery, obstruction, all part of this alleged criminal enterprise run by Sean Combs. His attorney also admitted to the jury that her client's conduct is quote-unquote indefensible, and that he may be a deviant, but that doesn't make him a criminal, which strikes me as not a terribly great defense. We're going to be arguing, and they said this to the jury, that the alleged female victims, and there are a lot of them, are all motivated to lie out of greed because they file lawsuits against Combs for money damages. Well, that is a typical defense tactic, but it is dangerous, it is perilous. Jurors might perceive it as the lawyers re-victimizing the victims. Katie?
Diddy trial is revealing more and more about a side of Hollywood that many people did not want to see. People are fleeing as names are being dropped, including billion-dollar CEOs, music icons, and megachurch pastors. Tell us in the comments section, do you believe that this is merely another well-known scapegoat or the start of a significant Hollywood purge? If you watched all the way through, ring the bell to ensure you do not miss what comes next. Subscribe for more exclusive updates and like this video.